While it wasn't enough to make me change my prediction, to see Joseph Parker talking on the eve of his fight against Deontay Wilder, so sure of himself, and with Andy Lee right next to him just saying, look, we're going to win. We're going to win by knockout. No, I hope we do okay. You know, we've done our best. We've put in the work. Just completely a direct answer. We're going to win. And it did make me think, you know, these guys are sure of themselves. I never doubted the marriage between Andy Lee and Joseph Parker. I think you saw it really bear fruit in that rematch against Derek Chisora. But with him getting so beaten up against Joe Joyce, not knowing how much was left in the tank, and of course the fact that Wilder just always seemed to find that one punch out of nowhere, having fought horribly for most of the fight, I couldn't look past that. Not completely. I thought there was going to be some slip up, but no. We saw a Joseph Parker as good as we've ever seen execute a wonderful game plan. We saw a Joseph Parker with improved movement in terms of lateral movement and footwork. He was just too far away for Wilder a lot of the time. Now, in my prediction video, I said he either needed to be too far away or too close. The difference was the ratios. I thought he needed to be closer for longer. No, this time he stayed further away. But that's where the lateral movement came in. And also holding his feet enough that it made Wilder unsure if he was about to be attacked. This was the essence of the game plan that left Wilder confused and probably more quiet than usual. When you've got a guy who's threatening with his own right hand, but he's also making you miss, it puts you in a bit of a tricky situation. And for Wilder, who's never had the greatest ring IQ, I'm sure it was making his brain overheat. So then when Parker went for his opportunities, of course notably in the 8th round, he was able also to take advantage of something Wilder's always had. Namely, poor balance, a weak foundation. And this is one of the big reasons why I reject the narrative of Wilder being completely shot here. Some people have tried to push it to the point it was the main factor. No, I agree with the poll I put up and the answers I received that actually said Parker was just better. He took advantages of problems that have always been there. And though Wilder was kind of quick to try and do something about it, he wasn't technically good enough faced with the guy who can punch quicker. But the real nail in the coffin for Dr. Sleep, and probably that nickname now as well, was something I've got to give a lot of credit to both Joseph Parker and Andy Lee, which is just this improved discipline. He does not have the dead spots that he used to, certainly not in this fight. There was no going to sleep in the clinch. There was no hanging around on the inside without doing much. Everything was tight. Every little move served a purpose. There were maybe about 2 moments in the whole fight where Parker just started drifting back in a straight line. Wilder started coming awake like it activated some like predator-prey response, and then Parker was back to business, making the right moves. And as early as round 2 or 3, he was asking, like, do I need to do anything else? Like more punches? It's great to see that the conversation sometimes that you don't always get in the corner. Normally it's one guy just barking orders or being the motivator. And Andy Lee was like, no, just work on the jabs, make sure you're sure of your escape route before you do it. And so complete was the performance in the end that Parker didn't even really need to knock him out. The intent was enough. It kept Wilder quiet. It kept him overly concerned with his own well-being. And then you had a fighter who had a good enough game plan, who had the speed, the movement, and the chin for when he occasionally took a few, to just stop Wilder being able to get into the fight. Yes, I know he was inactive. 38 isn't a great age. I'm one of the biggest ones to bang on about inactivity and how it doesn't help. But in the ring there, in those 12 rounds, I saw a Wilder who looked pretty similar as usual. He was just faced with a more competent fighter than 95% of his opposition. I know it wasn't exactly the equivalent of had David Tua actually dethroned Lennox Lewis back in 2000. I remember watching that one live. But that was a significant victory. Probably his career's most significant. Does that put Parker above Tua historically? Does it make him a superior Kiwi fighter? I'll let the natives answer that one. In terms of where he goes next, I don't know. There's a lot of options. I wouldn't mind Zhang. I would like to see him against Frank Sanchez. He was on the same card, right? These should be easily made. And we even spoke about a possible rematch with Anthony Joshua. Now I know, remembering what we got in 2018, that might not necessarily whet the appetite. But on the flip side, we're surely going to get a better fight, right? If that one did get made. So here's Joseph Parker in his true prime now at 31. He is eyeing up a very good 2024. He said this before he went and beat Wilder. Who would you most like to see him fight?